Hey everyone, I just wanted to address an issue that I've been having to just let everyone know what's been going on. About a week and a half ago, I started having major issues out of my editing software. I thought I had it fixed, but after closing and then reopening Final Cut Pro, I kept experiencing the same thing on repeat. What happened was I recently bought a new Nikon ZR mirrorless camera. I'm almost finished with my new office that I've been setting up now for months, and once I do, I plan to really up the quality of my videos. But that camera's file format takes up a ton of space. So I had changed some settings in Final Cut to allow me to edit the footage off of an external hard drive. I didn't realize at the time that changing that setting was going to alter the settings for every future project moving forward. That's where I went wrong. After I closed the software and then reopened it, I would lose all of my footage. It would just completely disappear, and I'd have to start the entire video back over completely from scratch. I've spent more than a week trying to figure out what was causing this issue. I finally figured it out though, and I've gone back and I've changed those settings back to what they were initially. Everything seems to be working correctly now. I just wanted to give everyone a heads up and let you all know why my uploads have seemed so sporadic here lately. So, now that I've got that out of the way, let's get after it.
Breaking news coming out in the last hour. Prepare for war is the warning that it is the only way for peace. Now, as I mentioned, this just coming out in the past hour. Headlines starting to roll out across the news media outlets as it says that France's Macron says that Europe, they must be ready for war if it wants peace. They're saying that this is essentially going to be the only way, according to French President Macron, saying that Europe will ready itself for war. And it says France's Macron says that Europe must be ready if Russia escalates the tensions. This article coming out from Reuters just 36 minutes ago. But now this is some pretty incredible major news. This would essentially pull everyone into war. If France and Europe go to war, NATO goes to war, Russia goes to war, we would see a dominoes effect of countries entering into war. So this is essentially a World War III warning that could be starting here, that is sparked as France is saying that this is the only way. And again, that would also pull in the United States and several other of the allies of Europe, as they're saying that this is the way, as tensions are increasing as well. If you missed my video, literally just 2 hours ago, I posted a video of the warnings coming out as Russian President Vladimir Putin has said that they are ready for nuclear war.
I have a lot of thoughts on this one that I would love to share with you all, but essentially, because of YouTube's tampering down on freedoms of speech, the things I'd really like to say are just not possible. But if you get on X and you follow any other stories there right now, one in particular that's surrounding this French President Macron, this guy looks like he's in really hot water right now. He's apparently recently been caught and exposed for ordering a very bad thing to take place on someone that's a U.S. citizen who's a very popular media figure. And I myself have not seen the evidence, but from the multitude of online personalities who I've heard have seen the evidence, I would say that the likeliness is pretty high that this is a legitimate story. But if you haven't been following that, I would get over on X or jump on YouTube and look at Candace Owens' YouTube channel. Regardless of how you feel about her personally or any of the things that she's been speaking about here lately, she's the center of this controversy right now, and it doesn't look like things are going to play out very well for Macron or his significant other. But if I had to guess as to why this happens to be taking place right now, is they're trying to cover up this other narrative that's going on. They're trying to shift everyone's attention into, hey, we're fixing to enter war. Stop worrying about what I'm doing in my personal life that may be highly illegal, that may be highly unethical, that may be downright evil. But I will say this, if they think they're going to drag all of us into war, I'll just go to prison. I'll be able to hide from them for quite a while. They don't have their control grid in place just yet, but I know I'm not going to be the only one that refuses to go fight in one of these stupid wars. But the only reason I'm bringing up that other story is I don't think, with the way things are headed right now, that some of our allegiances are going to remain allegiances for much longer. When you have things like this being exposed, it's going to be very difficult to get the population, either in our country or theirs, to get behind this whole wartime effort. Everyone sees it for what it is. The longer we sit here and watch how things are playing out, the more it appears that this whole anti-Russia narrative, these are all these guys who are on board with this 2030 agenda trying to force Russia into playing along. I just can't help but see it any other way whenever you start actually paying attention to some of the speeches that Putin is giving. But I say, if that's the route they want to go, we don't really have much control over it. If all these leaders decide that these countries are all going to go to war with one another, if that's what they're going to do, that's what they're going to do. But that doesn't mean we have to play along.
The end game of this is to have a society run by technology and artificial intelligence running the technology, which overrides human input and dictates the lives of humanity. And with AI connected to the human brain, so AI becomes the human mind.
In a lot of ways, it's kind of like a Fitbit in your skull with tiny wires.
At the moment, just human perception comes from information received. From information received, you form perceptions. So manipulating information received is how, up to this point, human perception has been manipulated. What they want is to have human perceptions come direct from AI.
Will you be able to save and replay memories in the future?
Yes, I think in the future you'll be able to save and replay memories. I mean, this is obviously sounding increasingly like a Black Mirror episode.
People might say, oh, that's that mad conspiracy theorist bloke saying that. Well, actually, we'll try Ray Kurzweil, a Google executive, many others, but let's focus upon him.
That went along fine, but then something happened. 65 million years ago, there was a sudden violent change to the environment. We call it the Cretaceous extinction event.
He has claimed, or it's been claimed for him, to have something like an 80% record of correctly predicting coming technology and how it works.
20 years from now, we'll have nanobots. They'll go into our brain, through the capillaries, and basically connect our neocortex to a synthetic neocortex in the cloud, providing extension of our neocortex.
It's very easy to predict the unfolding of technology if you know that that technology is coming, because you are connected to that level of elite that is playing out this technological control system called the smart grid. So we should take very seriously his contention that by 2030, which is a year that comes up again and again in relation to many parts of this human control agenda, by 2030, people are going to have their brains connected to artificial intelligence.
One thing that really freaks me out with this concept of being able to save and replay memories, if you can save and replay a memory, is that not proof that you'll also be able to install false memories and replay them? And if all of this is going to be connected to AI and all of this is going to be connected to the internet, essentially, you're giving the powers that be the ability to just download false memories into your mind and control you by influencing who you think you are, by giving you memories of things that you supposedly did that never even took place. We're all a product of our environment and our lived and shared experiences. If those so-called lived experiences aren't actually factual, they've all been falsified by some AI video input that's giving you a memory of something that you didn't actually do. How do you think that's going to impact you or influence your future decisions? And think about whenever you do something horrible that's just a major mistake and you spend years beating yourself up for it. Now imagine they put some memory in your head of some atrocity that you just can't stop thinking about. And if it's a memory, you can't convince yourself that it's not true. Even if you know that they can put a false memory in your head, you'll never know. I think this is more dangerous than some of these chemicals and stuff that they're sneaking into all these injections. Regardless of what's going on with the human body, as long as you can maintain freedom of thought, which is essential in order to maintain freedom of religion, then you shouldn't really have much to worry about. This life is just but a vapor that appears and then disappears anyway. But if you don't have control over your own thoughts, if you don't have the knowledge of whether or not a memory in your head is true or not, that's a game that's just too dangerous to be played. I can't help but to view it like this. If you're willing to put one of these chips in your head, knowing the potential consequences, you're willingly giving away your autonomy. You're literally handing over your thoughts, your heart, and your soul.
Roblox players, listen up. If you or your kids use the popular gaming platform Roblox, the way that you communicate on the platform is about to be changing.
This is new technology, and we are the first to implement it in this way.
Roblox is saying that they're now bringing out a new safety standard using facial recognition age verification to limit chatting in the platform. How they're going to be doing this is through facial recognition, starting the first of the year for all users, no matter your age. If you want to be able to use the communication features in Roblox, you're going to have to scan your face in the platform, kind of similar to how you scan your face when using an Apple iPhone to use the unlocking feature. It's then going to put you in an age group that it assumes that you're in based on this facial scanning. That then limits who you're able to chat with, both in-game and in private messaging. I'm going to put on the screen here the age groups that they're then going to use that facial recognition to group their users in. Roblox is calling this age-based chat, and they're doing this to help combat online predators. I'm a news anchor here in Des Moines, Iowa, and we actually just had a case back in May. A 13-year-old here in West Des Moines being abducted by a 37-year-old man in Tennessee who was posing as a teenager online on Roblox. Roblox is saying by using this, they're creating an age-appropriate environment on their platform. Now, if you're wanting to chat with someone outside of your age group, say an older sibling, someone you go to camp with, or even a parent that's also playing on the platform, that can be done, but it has to be approved so that strangers aren't able to reach out to people outside of their age group without that approval. We're also told that when it comes to private chat rooms, anyone under the age of 13 won't have access to those.
Under 13s will not have access to private chat. So separate channels outside of games, that's restricted to 13 and up. And we have also a product called Trusted Connections that allows you to connect with people in real life and then chat with those folks in smaller groups. So that's only available for 13 and older.
What are your thoughts? Do you think that this is doing enough to combat online predators?
I'll tell you what's going to happen with this. Someone's going to find out a way to hack the system, and I don't mean like getting in on a computer and actually hacking things. I mean they're going to find a way to circumvent this. Silicone masks of children are going to become a new thing, and all this is going to do is create a false sense of security for the children that are using the app and the parents. Kids are going to feel more confident that they're only speaking with kids that are their age. Parents are going to feel more confident that their kids are only speaking with kids that are equal to their age. But we know how bad these people are. We know the extreme measures that they'll go to in order to circumvent something like this. And what's to keep them from making a 3D printed model of a child's face that they created using AI, and then they can just have the system scan that? These facial recognition systems are not flawless. I see them malfunctioning all the time. I've seen videos of people who can't open their iPhone because it suddenly stopped recognizing their face and they don't remember their passcode. But just like everything else with this biometric ID nonsense, they're trying to sell us on this idea of safety and security. And I think Roblox has done proven time and time again that this isn't even an issue that they're genuinely concerned about. There's clearly an ulterior motive here. They're just wanting people's data. Everyone needs to just stop letting their children use this platform at all, or someone needs to come out with an alternative to it that has some actual genuine safety and security features in it, since it's geared toward children. Hey, don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you haven't already, and don't forget to drop your theories and your comments in the comments section down below.
Over the last 8 years, the federal government has sent farmers over $130 billion in emergency aid. But when you follow where that money actually goes, it reveals who's really profiting from this system and why more bailouts won't fix it.
So when I get an aid package, okay, that money will never come to me. It comes straight through my hands into whoever I owe the money to.
When federal money is sent to farmers who have debts, like Adam, Scott, and most small farmers, they quickly pass it on to the companies they borrowed from to buy the products they need to farm, like seed, fertilizer, and machinery. And the combined costs of those inputs have risen far faster than what farmers can sell their crops for on the market. Farmers pay 3 times higher on inputs than they did in the 1990s.
What has gotten us to this point is the mergers and consolidations of ag input suppliers. In 2015, Monsanto and Bayer merged. They were competing against each other. And that was during Obama's administration. They didn't do a thing about that. They let it happen. They let it happen. When I started farming, we had 5 or 6 Arkansas-based seed companies. Monsanto. There's none. There's none. They're all owned by Bayer or Pioneer.
In the last 40 years, thousands of seed companies have merged into 3. 46 fertilizer firms have merged into 4. And just 2 farm machinery companies dominate the markets for tractors and combines.
Just for easy numbers, say I'm going to make $500 an acre gross on an acre of whatever. Well, those companies know that, and they will price their stuff up to like $490. The lack of competition is the reason they can keep those prices inflated, and there's nothing we can do about it.
That ability to raise prices is a big part of why, while farmers are just breaking even, major input companies maintain steadily high profit margins.
I'm calling whatever the heck is happening in the world of agriculture a bull market of insane proportions.
They're going to push us up to the brink, and then when they tip us over the edge, they're going to go to the taxpayer for the balance. Instead of lowering their prices and taking a cut in their margin, they're just laundering tax money.
I'd say that sounds like a fairly accurate assessment to me. That sounds like it's exactly what they're doing. What happened to all those laws that you used to hear about protecting us against monopolies in the United States? And I'm sure if you go back and actually look at all the documentation and stuff, because none of these companies are just owned by an individual anymore. They're all owned by another company, which is owned by another company, and they all have shares in each other. But I'm sure if you dig into that far enough, you'll probably find that BlackRock or somebody like that is the one that owns all of these companies. And I used to hear stuff like this and think, how in the world did we allow something like this to happen? How has it gotten this bad? But it's become obvious at this point that it's done this way intentionally. This is all by design. These guys that are pushing the 2030 agenda, they have direct influence over all these companies. All these guys are buddies. They're all on board with this 2030 agenda because they all want total, complete control over the entire world, and they're willing to do anything they can to do it. But if things are really that bad, and I have no reason not to believe that guy, I honestly don't see how anyone's farming anymore. If they're going to charge you $490 an acre on a product that you can only make $500 an acre off of, you're going to end up losing money just trying to bring that crop to market. So it sounds to me like not only are farmers not turning a profit anymore, but they're probably having to dig into their own pockets and take out loans just to continue to operate. Loans that they know they'll never get the money to pay back. I wouldn't say we're waiting on a tipping point. I'd say we passed that tipping point long ago. And the most messed up part is, even if another seed company were to try to start up, what are they going to do? Sell heirloom seeds that won't grow in the dirt because of all the aluminum and other heavy metals that they've sprayed in our atmosphere? This doesn't even sound like there's a potential solution out there to try to fix something like this. But they're just trying to cut out all the middlemen and get rid of these small-time farmers and the larger farmers. If they're actually being run by a human, then they can buy up all the farmland for next to nothing, just like Bill Gates is doing, and they'll grow crops, but it's all going to be this GMO stuff, and the entire operation is going to be run by machines that are running off of AI. This is how they take over the entire operation. I just don't see how something like this gets solved.
Campbell Soup is admitting to thousands of Clean Water Act violations at its Napoleon plant. Court filings show the company illegally dumped pollutants like phosphorus and E. coli into the Maumee River more than 5,400 times since 2018. Environmental groups say that fueled toxic algal blooms in Lake Erie, and now a trial next year will decide penalties and how Campbell has to fix the problem. Campbell responded to the report saying in part, quote, "We have taken a number of steps to improve our operations and comply with environmental regulations. We have been part of the Napoleon community since 1938, and our goal is to reach a settlement that serves the interest of the environment and the community where our employees live and work."
We've taken a number of steps to improve our operation and comply with environmental regulations. Sounds to me like it's a little late for that, Campbell's. They were just in the headlines a week ago because of what their president or CEO or whoever that guy was saying caught on undercover video. That he himself wouldn't even trust eating their products anymore because who wants to eat genetically modified chicken that was created on a 3D printer? I just think it'd be interesting to find out if the bigwigs, like the top guys at Campbell's, are donating to any of these Save the Planet funds, any of these programs that are geared toward environmental protections. Because it seems like all of these elites push these ideas of we need to save the environment, we need to save the planet. But then you hear them doing stuff like this, exposing that they really could care less about what happens to this planet. They really could care less about what happens to the people in that community that they're so adamantly trying to connect themselves to in that statement. But if I had to guess, the only reason this trial is set for next year is so it can give them time to try to make it look like they've cleaned up their act, so they'll get less of a fine and less consequences whenever the actual trial comes. And you know this isn't the only company that's doing this and trying to get away with it. They're just the only ones that got caught.
This is not going to be good.
The police officer said, hey, I just have a bolo out in your truck and I need to detain you until Meridian Police come.
We got a call from Meridian Police Department detectives, okay, and for whatever reason, they're looking for your truck.
And then it was just more and more and more, and pretty soon there was probably 10 to 15 police cars around, 20 different officers or so, right? The detectives came up and they told us, hey, we have a CPS referral for you guys. It looks like you guys missed your appointment this morning.
Hey, Levi, do me a favor, step out of the car.
I would like to first speak with our attorney.
No, I want you to step out of the car.
Okay, isn't that my right to speak?
Not right now, son. Get out of the car. Get out of the car. I'm not gonna screw around with you, okay? Get out of the car. Right now. Get back, now. Or you're gonna go to jail.
Detain for what?
We're not gonna screw with you, you understand?
For
not to.
What crime did I commit? No,
felony injury to child. Get out of the car.
Hey, you can't abuse me. I'm getting out. I'm getting out. And let me get out. For what reason?
For a felony injury to a child, okay?
And I knew what was going to happen at this point, but I didn't want to accept it.
The officers come around to my side. They open the truck door, and at this moment, when this is all happening, I remembered what I prayed, and immediately I knew, I had no doubt in my mind they were going to take him, that no matter what happened, they were going to take him.
Give me the baby, okay?
I can't. Can you please help me right now? You understand? I'm a desperate mom right now.
We know.
I really need your help right now.
Talk to her. We'll give you that opportunity, okay? But we're going to take him to the hospital. And if you want to go, you can come along.
Can I ride with you?
Yes, you can.
The mom's not getting practice out of us.
Oh, then take her away from you and get in there.
She can go right away. Yeah, we are. Yeah.
Well, no, we don't want her nowhere. We're a hospital.
No.
We don't want her nowhere. We're a hospital.
No.
The officer told me that I could go with him in the ambulance into the hospital.
Yeah, and I don't know what was said before then. I was not a part of that conversation.
You can't take him. You can't.
Okay. So you have one option at this point. You need to give him to the EMT, and you can go on your merry way with your friends and your family who's out there.
That's not merry at all.
Or I remove him from you and you go to jail. You need to make that decision. You need to make it now, please.
I won't let him go.
Okay. Go ahead and jump that away for me. Okay, please let him go so he does not get hurt, okay? Come here, little buddy. Okay.
I promise I will take you. I let him go. I let him go.
No, she's going to jail.
I just said I couldn't, but I let him go.
Put your hands on your back, okay?
That is from a new documentary that came out yesterday by Ryan Matta on X for free. You can go there and watch it. It's called Never in America. It is probably the most terrifying documentary I've ever seen. Our system is literally designed to incentivize the abduction of people's kids. And the United States is the only country where this happens. And some of the statistics that you hear while watching that video are staggering. Nearly 83% of all kids who are abducted illegally by the state, it's later found that there was no evidence of any abuse. Every single state in the U.S. has laws that incentivize police and CPS workers to abduct people's kids, all in an effort to get kickbacks from the federal government. And the likelihood of these kids having life-altering negative consequences goes through the roof when they enter the foster care system. CPS needs to be completely shut down. And this documentary also exposes the multitude of people who tried to bring attention to this issue and then mysteriously ended up dead. But I wanted everyone to know that this just came out, and if you haven't seen it and you have children, you've got to go watch this video. I'm going to put a link to it in the description of today's video so that everyone can find it easily, but it's completely free to watch. This guy is just trying to spread knowledge.
So if you guys haven't had a chance to see my new documentary, Never in America, I'm going to share a clip I haven't shared yet. And, I want to tell you guys that this documentary isn't necessarily just for the parents who've had their children taken, which it is, so that way they can send it to a friend or a family member. Because a lot of people, when you get your kid taken by CPS, you have to call your family and say, hey, this happened. And they're over there thinking you're probably a bad parent, you neglected your child. That's just the stigma that comes along with having your kid taken by CPS. But this film is also for the hundreds of thousands of families that are going to have their children taken by CPS. So when it happens, you can send my film out to your family and rile the troops and rile the support behind you, because you're going to need every last resource and everybody in this fight to get your children back. So if you haven't seen my film, you need to watch it. And you need to know, if you are a parent, you think you're a good parent, you never have to open that door for CPS. If they do not have a warrant, it's get off my lawn, come back with a warrant, no questions asked. You never open that door. Check this clip out.
Cases, we got to take that kid away, and the state would have to find a way to pay for it. Well, that all changed in 1997. 1997, your best friend Hillary Clinton championed the ASFA law, the Adoptive Safe Families Act, signed by Bill Clinton.
The Adoption and Safe Families Act, it fundamentally alters our nation's approach to foster care and adoption.
The national government does have an important role to play in reforming our foster care system.
It will provide states with financial incentives to increase the number of children adopted each year,
and to move children more quickly into safe and permanent homes.
So, Mr. President, as you sign the Adoption and Safe Families Act of 1997, I believe the future of all America's children and their families become a little brighter.
And this act essentially took the existing law of CAPTA, put more teeth to it, and created a funding mechanism for it. And here was the secret, dirty little trick they pulled on this. They didn't create a new tax. They didn't create any new taxing mechanism where people would have to make a determination, do we really want to pay for this or not? They simply sucked the money right out of Social Security.
I'm pleased that this bill also authorizes additional funds that program needs, because it is working.
Funding is available when a child is placed in a foster home with strangers.
$29.9 billion annually goes to the states from the federal government to reward them for taking these kids.
These work so well, we actually ran out of money to reward the states.
You want to know it's bankrupting Social Security?
So this law, ASFA, requires a recoding or a rewriting of the Social Security Act in order to create funding mechanisms out of Social Security to pay for CPS, foster care, and adoption nationwide.
So did you say it's taking money out of Social Security?
Yeah, absolutely.
So the Social Security that's not sustainable already as it is.
That's exactly right.
Our government has been liquidating or looting that treasury.
Billions of dollars.
So that they can fund an apparatus that is literally kidnapping and trafficking American children.
100% correct.
And are they selling these children as well? Are they profiting off from giving these children to a home?
Yes.
Jeez.
But they call it adoption. So
you can't steal my child and then adopt it.
Yes, they can.
Under Title 4D of the Social Security Act, the federal government is essentially paying state CPS agencies every time they accuse someone of abuse.
Yes.
And so, if you subsidize apples, you get more apples. You subsidize corn, you get more corn. They're subsidizing abuse allegations, even if they don't have to be proven true or false or anything. It's just, all they have to do is make the accusation and they get more money. So because that's how it's set up.
With recent changes at the federal level, state government gets reimbursements based upon the rate of adoptions.
It's an allegation we've seen many times in our 3-year-long investigation of Kentucky CPS, that instead of trying to bring families together, the cabinet forces adoptions to earn more federal bonus money.
You get praise. The cabinet praises you for terminating rights and adopting kids out immediately.
She says the concerted effort to take children away and put them up for adoption was so brazen, she actually saw someone successfully place an order for children.
The just part about this is the Clintons started this, and right here, right now, President Trump and RFK have the ability to end it. Will they?
That was another clip from Ryan Matta's Never in America documentary. It's about 2 hours long, and it's one of the most densely packed, informative documentaries I've ever watched. But this documentary needs to be shared everywhere. Everyone needs to lay eyes on this. This needs to become a known issue. What they'll do is they'll abduct someone's children with no evidence of abuse, and then they'll have a judge in the case put a gag order on the parents so they can't even go to the media and ask for help from the public. And when you're dealing with CPS, you have no rights. Every right that you're supposed to be afforded according to our founding documents is completely thrown out the window. The way the very system itself is set up is unconstitutional and illegal. And so many of the people involved in this scheme are just genuine bad actors. They know what they're doing. And all of the cops and the CPS workers and stuff who don't fully understand what's taking place here, but they have suspicion, when questioned about it, they all just give the whole, I was just doing my job. But I wanted to make everyone aware of this, and I want everyone, if you can, to share this far and wide. What I don't understand is how we don't hear more instances of the state trying to take someone's kids away and it ending in a bloodbath. But with that being said, I'm going to stop talking right there before I cross a line and lose my entire channel. But everybody, that's the end of our clips for the day. I hope you enjoyed these clips we watched together today. I'm sorry things are getting so dark. That's just the state of the world. But I should have another video coming out tomorrow. I hope everyone will come back and join me. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And don't forget to drop your theories and your comments in the comment section down below. But guys and gals, I hope everyone has a great, safe, fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you all tomorrow.